Hello, welcome. It is my pleasure to greet you. My name is Juan, here with Marc and Kevin, and we like movies. Today we have the delight of discussing a movie that I picked. It is called Prey. It is a 2022.
You might have to spell it.
Yes, Prey. That is a good point. Yeah, not to be confused with anything else. This is Prey, a 2022 film directed by Dan Trachtenberg, and starring some Native American folk, mainly Amber Midthunder. Is the lead's name. I've never seen her in anything else, but she might be in other stuff. Maybe the guys will know more about it. Anyway, this was my pick, as I mentioned. All I knew about this was that it's a film in the Predator film franchise. In fact, it is a prequel set in the northern Great Plains of North America in 1719. We are following a tribe of Comanche Native Americans. In particular, we are following a young lady who goes by the name of Naru, who is a female Comanche warrior, but who wants to female Comanche who wants to prove herself as a warrior, a role traditionally reserved for the males. And so, as she's going off to the test to prove yourself is to hunt something that would hunt you. And as she is figuring out what she wants to do that, she encounters something mysterious that is killing things in the wilderness there where she's at. She shortly thereafter discovers that it's a predator, which of course she has no idea what that is. And then she's off to defend her and her tribe against it and against maybe another potential threat on the horizon. That's where I'll leave it there, and I will pass my turn since I just spoke all that much in sharing my first impressions about the film. I will pass it over to Kevin. Go.
Ooh, all right. Well, for me, Prey was your basic hero's journey monster movie. Cool idea and concept, but that's about all. And I mean, like, it was okay. The main character was decently done. She fits right up there with the Laura Crofts and the Katniss Everdeen's of the cinematic world. Prey had some fun spots, some cool shots, and some fun callbacks to the other movies, but nothing that makes it have a place in my rewatch list, except the fact I watched it with my 7-year, my 8-year-old Harley, and she enjoyed it, and she really liked it as an introductory to the Predator world. Like I said, there were some cool ideas and concepts in it, but overall, like it was just there. It was okay,
Mm.
and those are my opening thoughts for it.
All right. Well, this was a movie that when Juan announced, I pumped my fist in the air about. I was very excited to watch it. I think I just like anything that has predators in it because I know it's going to have action and gore. And I thoroughly enjoyed this. I think this is the movie that I have, seen the most since doing this podcast. I think I've watched this movie 4 times now in a week. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I thought it was wonderful.
Okay. Yeah, interesting take. I was not expecting that when you started. your explanation. But that is what I was expecting before that, because it is your classic popcorn flick, action popcorn flick at least. For me, I'm probably in agreement with Kevin a little bit more. I was slightly disappointed with this film, partly because it had a lot of hype. First, I mean, I projected a lot of hype onto it because the trailer was amazing, and was so excited to see that this was a Predator film when it was revealed, after the trailer, because it's so different than pretty much everything we've ever seen, in the Predator franchise, and just seemed like a very, sort of, simpler meat and bones, but was very exciting to see kind of what Predator would look like in that environment. So and then I was hearing just a lot of reviews, not necessarily. I didn't check what the sources were, but I was just hearing, oh, best Predator movie, this or that. So I really felt like it was gonna be. I was prepared to be blown away, and it was a little disappointing. I mean, I will say there was a lot of good murdering taking place. Um, it was that was cool and fun, but for me, it lacked suspense. It lacked a little bit of drama. It definitely lacked emotional weight, which I think they tried to inject through the Comanche story, but for me, it just didn't quite land. Um, so at times, I felt like it was a little dull because, I was just kind of waiting. Okay, when's the next murder? When's the next, violent scene, gruesome scene
Yes.
gonna happen? But there wasn't really the suspense there. I felt like the story was a little weak. Um, so yeah, I would say that's kind of my take on it initially.
So let me ask you guys, the versions that you watched, did it have the subtitles when they were speaking Comanche? It was the actual Comanche words?
Yes.
Um, I don't think mine did.
Well,
What do you
mine
mean?
didn't translate it. It just said the Comanche words or the French words. It
Right.
didn't translate it.
Was that the same for you, Juan?
Oh, it was the French that wasn't translated. That's
Comanche wasn't translated either, I promise you then.
Yeah, because they would speak English. They would just like
Oh
flip
yeah,
to
yeah, yeah,
English.
yeah. Correct. It just
Okay,
it just the
so
Comanche wasn't as much as the French.
right. So okay, so here's the thing before we get into everything. Um, yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed the movie, and it made me kind of start looking into the movie itself and what people thought about it. And I started hearing people's takes and whatnot. And I just I feel like there's not. I don't know. I feel like this movie works really well once you start look at the first time I watched it, I was like, oh man, that was pretty good. That was pretty good. But then I started reading into to different things and hearing about the lore and
Yeah.
I was like, oh wow, that's awesome. And then I watched it again. I was like, oh man, that's awesome. And I kept going, and then it was hitting home. And
Hmm.
now this is a movie that I can easily just put on, and I know exactly what's happening because I've been hooked on it. Um,
So fill us in.
well,
Educate us.
I don't. So okay, so apparently the Comanche, um, we the best version of this movie is with the Comanche sub, I guess is the proper way to say it. So like you see what they're saying in the Comanche
Hmm.
when they're speaking Comanche. So anyways, and one part that is really important is when Tabe is fighting the predator, and I mean Tabe is whooping him, like
Yeah.
just going at him, and
Yeah.
you're like, oh snap, and then he cloaks, right? So Tabe shouts out something in Comanche, and it's just like whatever. What do you think he shouts out? One guess for both of you.
If I had to guess right now, especially just kind of knowing Native American or what I know about Native American culture and like spirits or whatever, that he maybe was under the impression that this was some kind of spirit,
Okay.
or something like that.
Okay. So what? So you think he said spirit?
Maybe he shouted out like, no. I would think it's some sort of confusion, about like what is this, or
Oh my God, Juan! Pick one word that you think he
one
said.
word that he shouts out.
Yes, he shouts out one word.
Crapola.
Okay, but the bad way. Okay,
Well,
and then
what I believed
yeah.
he shouted out, and apparently now I feel I'm wrong now that you're talking about it. I thought he shouted out like coward when he like disappeared.
Yeah.
So that's
Okay.
literally what I thought he shouted out.
So when he cloaks, he shouts out cheater.
Okay.
Right. So I've learned that in the predator world, they're split on the cloaking. There are half who believe that cloaking is a-okay in battle. It's there. I'm going to use it 24/7. And there's others who will only use it if their life is on the line. So I was like, oh, wow, I did not know that. So this predator I've learned is I didn't learn that, but I knew with his mask, he wasn't like a typical one because it was very flashy. I thought it was awesome looking, but it's pretty flashy. And I saw that, so I thought maybe he was like either a rookie or, trying to show off or something. And apparently the outside world's take was that he's a young predator, and that's why he's only hunting young things. And I noticed that he was hunting small things like a snake. He's a fox, a wolf, maybe not a fox, a wolf. And then he got to the bear, and that was his toughest battle. But just like reading about all of this stuff and then watching it again, it completely changed the movie for me. So I think that's why my review is so skewed, because I just went hardcore into it.
Yeah.
I will say, like, when I was doing research into it, it did make me like the movie a little bit more. But I'm just basing my review on when I watched it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because there's stuff that they talk about how the brother, like how I don't know if you remember the first movie. There was the Indian guy Billy, who dies and cuts himself in the chest. Like there was one version of the script where Billy is actually a reincarnation of the brother, and that's why he cuts himself on the chest. Because his subconsciously he's just how he got cut in the chest, and like that was actually like making me really like it made me like the movie a little bit better. But again, I needed all that extra reading in order to find out that stuff.
Right.
Well, like you gentlemen, I also did a little bit of research into the Predator canon because I wanted to know a little bit more. And to be honest, it's not one that I have followed closely because most of the movies, have been bad. Outside of cool special effects and like cool elements, they're not necessarily like fantastic Oscar, competing movies type of thing. So I just didn't find them usually like
not any of them.
Well, I think the first one is the best one.
Oh, okay.
Like I think that's the best one for me. But as I was reading, about Predator canon and this or that, it's kind of frustrating because part of it is that it is mysterious. Like there's not a lot of answers necessarily about the predators. There's hints here and there about who they are and what they're about, but for the most part, like even after 5 or so movies and comic books, I think, and whatever, like they're still pretty mysterious. And I guess that's part of what I felt after the movie was like, great, I did enjoy the Native American elements, like I thought that was really cool. And I mean, the movie's called Prey, so it makes sense that it focuses on them, who are the ones that are being, preyed upon by the predator. But I just continue to be left with like wanting to know more about the predator, and I guess that became a distraction for me. Like I just wanted to see him more, know more about him. Like why was he there? And again, yeah, part of the canon is that they just hunt, and oftentimes they're dropped off and on these planets or whatever to hunt and to prove themselves. But it kind of felt like, yeah, like maybe there was more to this one or whatnot, and that stuff that you're saying is cool, and it makes more sense. But yeah, like to Kevin's point, I wonder if, what is it a good, is it good for a movie to make you want to go and then read more and learn more or figure out things, or should the movie in and of itself provide enough for you to at least be able to say like, well, this left me satisfied and fulfilled from the movie experience?
I guess our reviews will tell. Well, no, I'm with you, man. I'm with you on that because, I liked a lot of there was a lot of good scenes, but it just seems like this movie suffered being in the Predator world. That maybe this movie was meant for just the fans, but you can't even say fans because I guess you have to just read the comics and books, right? And that's it. That's
well, and I like.
There's not even a Predator show.
Do you feel like I feel like the French people, like, that was not necessary? Like, well, if it would have just been even like about the girl and the predator, because in the original one, that's what it turned out to be, right? It was like the predator hunted down this team of commandos or whatever, but then it was just like the predator versus Arnold. And this
is the prequel to that, so they know about humans now. So that's why in the first one, the one that we know of, that now they understand how humans work, so they come in full force. This isn't I gotta go fight a snake, I gotta go fight a fox, or I keep saying a fox, I gotta go fight a wolf. It's not that. They automatically come in hunting them. So you're taking the knowledge that you have and applying it to something that they don't have in this movie.
I mean, I'm just saying, like, that would have been cooler. I think.
Yeah, if this movie had, I guess a creature that didn't really need much explaining, that wasn't in a world already that had applied canon, this movie would have been great.
Well, so based off of your logic, though, let's say, since this is a prequel, right? So let's say I had no knowledge about the Predator.
Yes.
And I just watched this one as my introduction into the franchise.
Yes.
I mean, I'd be left like, what was that?
Well, yes. I mean, I didn't say it all made sense. I was just telling you what it was.
Yeah.
But I mean, but see, I think that's what we're suffering from. I don't understand why. And Hulu doesn't offer the Comanche dub version, and I don't understand why that's not available, and that's very frustrating. And it's frustrating to hear that is the best version. It's like, well, this isn't like a director's cut movie. Like, it's a regular movie.
There is a version like that. You sure like the person writing that wasn't a Comanche that was like just was able to understand it? It was like, this is the best version.
Facts, bro. I don't even know. I could not confirm that.
Because I feel like, I mean, the Comanche part, it didn't seem, for that to not be translated, it didn't seem that strange to me. But as soon as I saw that the French wasn't translated, that immediately like caught my attention
Yeah.
as like something intentional that they were doing,
Right.
where it was like, the clash of cultures and you feeling lost and out of place was supposed to be maybe something like immersive, you know?
Yeah, I know, but we are still the fourth wall, so you still have to give us that. You still got to give us something because immerse us, but immerse us enough where we can understand what's going. Like, I feel like if I don't understand what's going on, then that's where this movie's struggling, because there's a lot of things that I was missing. Dude, hearing that he says cheater on that thing, and knowing about the predators and the cloaking, and I mean, that's crazy, man, because you know that he could tell that he was winning then.
I know. Yeah.
Wait,
This is awesome.
just hearing a random Comanche word, yeah, I thought it was a cuss word too,
Yeah.
I didn't think anything of it.
Yeah.
But that's kind of pivotal, and not making that available for me to see. I don't know. It's
Well, and
strange.
no, I mean, and I think on another side of it is it also gives you insight into that character of the brother,
Yeah,
but what his right, and like why he was such a badass and why he was like the ultimate warrior of the tribe.
Yeah.
I was just say, I understand why they want to translate the French, because like how the girl couldn't understand them
really
before we could understand.
They don't make sense of the story anyways. I get that part.
Yeah. But then not translating the Comanche, like I do feel like it took away after Marc explained it.
Yeah, and there was more of a deeper relationship between Tabe and Naru. Like, I mean, you can tell that there was something there. That Tabe was like, oh yeah, but he was like really rooting for her. Like, he really wanted her to succeed. But you don't see that because most of it's in Comanche, and that changes it for me watching, dragging her back, and not because he wanted to, but she just kept pushing, and finally she agreed with her, like, yeah, you know what, you're right, I did it, and he didn't want to say that, but she was just pushing, just something like that. It was interesting to watch, and it's just a shame that we didn't get to see all of it unfold because of some unknown reason.
Yeah. And something else, so I don't know if this was just me, when you have the picture settings for your television, there's like standard, dynamic, and there's a movie setting, which is my preferred setting. The colors are, they don't seem as bright, but it seems a little bit more realistic.
Mm-hmm.
Well, this movie in that setting at some parts was extremely dark.
Oh,
did you
really?
guys have that too?
No,
I did.
Dude,
wow.
there were some parts where like I full blown didn't know what was going on because it was so dark. And it was annoying. It was more toward the beginning or like the first half.
Yeah. Like me and Harley were moving around the room thinking maybe it was the angle we were watching it at. We're like, let's sit over here, baby. I'm like, all right.
Dude, I literally wrote down in my notes, man, they did a good job of showing you like what's happening in dark moments. Y'all got something going on your TVs, bro.
Like in your 4 viewings, like were they all in the same through the same screen, or like was one on your computer, one on your TV?
All 4 was on my TV. 2 were during the day and 2 were at night.
You must have that bright setting, bro.
They were all fantastic. The scene where they're carrying the torches at night through the forest, and one's in the front, one's in the back. And I was like, man, that's beautiful because you can see the forest around them, but like the focus is them. with the fire, and I was like, man, that's awesome. And you guys are saying it was so tough.
You got that Ultra 4K?
I guess so, bro.
I had 4K. That was.
Oh, my bad. Didn't mean to offend you. I do not.
Bro, it's an insult. He's like, I got 4K too. Nah, that's hilarious. Yeah, I really wrote that down. I said, man, this movie did a good job of showing you like things at night.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Completely opposite here. Wow. It is.
Well, you in this, when it comes to this movie, I mean, you're like the all-seeing eye here, because you saw you saw more than we did. You heard more than we did. You saw it more times than we did.
Hey, man, I got my son speaking Comanche with me, bro. It was a nice tale of a girl and her dog, and
that was a pretty cool looking dog, by the way.
Yeah, he was, or she,
an American dingo. It was a she. My bad.
She.
An American dingo.
Oh, nice. I was kind of frustrated that the movie kept emphasizing that Naru just wasn't good enough, because like she kept missing everything, missing, and it was just getting old. I'm just like, okay, yeah, I get it. She's a girl. She's not supposed to be doing this. Yeah, I understand that. You've already drove that home. So that was a little frustrating that they kept harping on that. But finally, when she got her little kill to eat some food right before everything happened, it was nice. I was hoping that the predator wouldn't be her first kill, because then that's just not believable,
Mm-hmm.
So the fact that she actually got a kill and was able to eat with her dog, that was good. I enjoyed that. I was like, okay, cool. She's had the experience. And it's funny.
Oh, sorry. She did get pretty good with that little rebound rope real quick.
Yeah, and that was a pretty dope little thing she made.
Sorry, I interrupted. Go ahead.
No, it's all right. No, it's okay. Yeah, so no, I was kind of frustrated with that, and this is completely off the rails, but the whole quicksand thing, it pulled me out of the moment, because I saw a documentary from Vice about quicksand, and how quicksand really doesn't exist. It's like just a Hollywood trope. And so there's people out there who kind of have a fetish for quicksand, and there's people who make quicksand fetish videos, and not all of them have nudity, but just some of them are just like really dirty. Some of them people are dressed up, and so now every time I see quicksand and a character in it, I'm just like, all right, so they're making this scene for the quicksand fetish dudes out there. All right, cool. No problem. So like that really took me out of it. But I'm glad we weren't there for too long.
Did you know that I thought it was quicksand when I first like saw it? When I was reading about it, it's actually a muddy bog, not quicksand. Because I'm like, you should just lay flat and you can get out of it.
Listen.
And then they were like, it's a muddy bog.
Okay, whatever.
I'm just letting you know what I read.
I've never seen mud like that, but okay, sure. But anyways, it looked like quicksand and it felt like quicksand, so my mind went to quicksand fetish videos.
Well, I'm sure they took a liberty, because just like you said, since quicksand doesn't really exist,
they
just said, well, let's do this mud-filled bog pit and make it like quicksand for the sake of our movie.
I was half expecting rodents of unusual sizes to pop up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I was expecting something crazy to pop up too. So I'm glad that didn't happen. But anyways, yeah, I enjoyed the companionship that Tabe and Naru had. Yeah. Once I understood what they were saying.
Yeah.
my first viewing, I thought Tabe was kind of a jerk to her, and then at the end, when his life was on the line, he's like, a bit nicer. But that wasn't the case at all. So it's tough, and I would have loved to, knowing that he called the Predator a cheater. I would have loved to hear what he said about like the line that he fought, and I know he admitted to Naru that. It was her plan, and she weakened the animal, but still, I don't know. We don't hear of anything that was said in their normal, conversation.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a little tough, but yeah, man, I really that bear scene, I can't get over that. That was such a great scene.
When you lifted up over his head.
Yeah, and that was a scene where like, yo, he got jacked up. But yeah, man, when he lifted him up and started just pouring the blood over, bathing in the blood of his enemies. Yeah, no, that was a pretty good scene.
Yeah. So, I mean, you bring up another point, right? Which is that scene where Tabi, tells Naru that they were trying to hunt this lion, and she came up with a little plan that seemed like it didn't work, but in actuality, it did work, and it was effective. So I just think this movie didn't have a focused identity of what it was, because, I mean, you keep mentioning elements that were really good and that I enjoyed too. So the other one was the relationship between Naru and Tabi. Was like, I loved Tabi's character, like he was so strong and such a good fighter, and yet at the same time like sensitive and loving and caring, to his sister, like there were so many interesting emotional dynamics, that I would have liked for them to explore. So, instead of bringing the French people in, instead of Naru being so concerned with trying to be a warrior and be just like the men or whatever, like just have the Predator slowly kill off the men, and now Naru's like the only one left between the Predator and the rest of the tribe, and she doesn't have strength, so she has to use her creative devices, just like in the original Predator, right? Where, I mean, I don't even remember that movie that well because I haven't seen it in so long, but as I was looking back, and watching videos and stuff, like Arnold was doing like traps,
it's literally the same concept, bro. Right. They didn't have enough strength to beat the Predator, so they had to do other things, use their mind.
Right. And so to your point just now, I guess it would have been redundant, but it would have felt like more realistic and more authentic, and it just would have been much more to see, like, because they gave you a taste of her creativity, but Arnold wasn't a Comanche, so it could have shown us like what her Comanche creativity would have been like. Maybe she would have used her dog, or or whatever, seeing her, because it's in her domain, right? It's in her element, it's in her home, where she knows everything. I mean, she knows which plants heal. She knows how everything works. So, it could have actually turned it on its head to where, once she realizes, that she, kind of how the Predator works a little bit, and then realizes how she kind of could have the upper hand with that. Like, to me, that would have been a lot more compelling.
I mean, just because I'm already that guy, she did use her dog, bro. Like, he ran over with the axe and handed it to her.
Yeah.
That's so, I don't know, man. I think you're just being like, I feel like you wanted the dog to get up on two legs and be like, yo, let's box, dog. And this wasn't that type of movie, man.
A little nitpicky, I guess. I'm just trying to identify why.
No, I know, but I mean, real talk. You rewrote a whole movie, and I agree. I feel like, yeah, that would have been better than than what we got here, because there was just so much there that is missing unless you go and do the research. And a lot of people just don't care for the research, and a lot of people are just like, oh yeah, that was cool, whatever, and that's that. But it's just really a shame that there's so much there that can go unnoticed because of the way this movie's being shown, I guess, or shown.
I do know about the French people. I know the French translator was mentioned in Predator 2, and he actually appears in one of the comic books, and it takes place in 1700s. So I think they're just trying to tie it into the franchise with the French people, which is my opinion on it.
Yeah, all right. Yeah, I didn't know that. I don't understand why we couldn't just see what they were saying. I don't understand.
Yeah. So in all your research, you didn't come across any explanation for that?
No, I didn't really care about the French portion because they got what they were there for. Just they were lambs to the slaughter. So
with my rudimentary 2 semesters of French from high school, at least what I got from what they were saying, most of them were literally just saying stuff like, no, it was like, oh, don't kill her, she can still be useful, you know what I mean? And then they use her as bait and stuff like that. That's like at least my little 2 semesters of high school French helped me there.
And that's what they cut Tommy to get that blood flowing, because they figured maybe he was attracted to the blood.
Yeah.
All right, look at you, parlez-vous français.
Je parle un petit peu.
All right, man, calm down, bro.
Yeah.
I can't even fact check you.
So is it the aliens that have acid blood?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
The xenomorphs.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Because that was my thought too at the end.
Yeah. Throughout, I was like, oh, that blood's gonna burn you. And then when it didn't happen, I was like, what?
It's gonna burn you.
I was like, what's going on here? And then I was like, why do I have this idea that they have acid blood? And then, it all started coming together, and I was like, "Oh, I think it's the aliens."
That's why he used that little like spray thing to melt like the skull, because he would just cut himself and burned it.
Right, the little spray. Yeah.
No, because that was my thought at the end when she came covered in that. I was like, "What the hell? How is that not burning her?" It's because she's like has Indian skin. I don't understand.
Yeah.
But yeah, I guess that makes sense.
But yeah, I mean, I just feel very conflicted because I think the Predator is such a cool science fiction character for me, like one of the coolest ones, if not the coolest one. I mean, I don't really care much for the xenomorphs. To me, the Predators are some of the best, maybe outside of like some Star Wars stuff or whatnot. Like Predator to me is like one of the best science fiction characters. And yet, so every time I'm like, I want to know more, like take me to your home, do a whole film about like just the Predator. What is it like when one is born? What's their childhood like? Like I want to know so much about them. And yet I think it is the mystery that continues to make them fascinating. So it's a riddle that it's frustrating because it's like a riddle that I'll never solve. It'll always be a mystery.
It's like the Boba Fett effect. The less you know, the cooler they are.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
But no, I agree, Juan, because I feel like there's just so much mystery and we don't know. But real talk, if we saw a sitcom about these predators and we see their mouths open, their tiny little face and their little gremlin teeth going, "Hey mom, what's up? How you doing today?" We're not gonna vibe with that, bro.
Dude, I used to watch the show Dinosaurs. Right? That's what it was called?
It was.
Yes, it was. But
I think I would watch that.
I think the problem is they're so. Well, I guess you can keep their mask on, but they're just so scary looking. So it's kind of hard to dive deeper into. And I think that's why this is the closest we're getting to a young predator. This was a teenager apparently, and this is what he looked like. He looked like an older one, but he just wasn't as big.
I think there was a young one in
Predators versus Aliens.
The one
that a young one?
The one that was set like during Halloween. It wasn't the one with Adrian Brody, but the one before that.
Wasn't the one with Adrian Brody on their planet though? I thought they got kidnapped to take to the planet.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it was the one before that, where there was like a really big predator. It was kind of set like in a school and in a neighborhood, and it was around Halloween. I think it was just like Predator.
It wasn't AVP, right? No,
it wasn't AVP. It was just called Predator, I think, or Predators. I don't know.
Was it Predator 2?
No, there is The Predator, which was made in 2018.
Yeah.
By Shane Black.
Yes, that one.
That could be it.
That's the one. Yeah.
I've never seen that one.
Oh,
The Predator.
I don't think I have either.
Oh, really?
Like, it's funny because I remember wanting to see it because Shane Black, but I don't think I've ever seen it. Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah, apparently that one reveals more about every one of them reveals like a tidbit, and you want a nice chunk, but all they give you is morsels.
Yeah. So wait, the you said the one with Adrian Brody's on their planet?
I believe so. Isn't that the one called The Predators?
Yeah.
Yeah, because I remember reading. I think Arnold Schwarzenegger was supposed to cameo on that, but ended up not. He was governor or something.
I don't remember that.
I don't know for sure if it's their predator or like their planet or like a neutral planet or something.
Like a hunting planet or something.
Yeah, like a hunting planet.
Oh, because I was gonna say that'd be the closest. I mean, we got to their world. I've never been to their world before. Now I'm gonna have to do a predator binge now.
Yeah, a little fest.
Yeah, maybe we'll throw up some quick reviews on Insta stories.
Dude, I honestly just want to watch that first one again. I saw a clip where Arnold just like growls for like 30 seconds straight, just like, and he sounds like something alien. He's
trying to intimidate him, man.
I will say the first one has the worst line, I think, in cinematic, like the most illogical line in cinematic history, and they repeat it in this movie. Like, there's a part where he has all the mud on his body, and the predator can't see him, right? And it's looking right at him, can't see him, and he literally says out loud, "He can't see me." And I'm like, the dude's right there. I'm like, wait, he doesn't hear him. I'm like, I guess because we're too dumb to process it ourselves. But then this movie does the same thing, where he can't see the translator, and she's like, "He can't see him." I'm like, he's right behind you, woman. And like, it's the most illogical. Like, why do you say it out loud? So yeah,
it's for us, man.
Yeah, the other thing I love about the Predator is just the way they communicate. It's a very like ASMR satisfying sound.
Yeah, I love those clips. Man.
Yeah.
They hit me in the right spots, man.
Whisper into my ear with those sweet nothing clicks.
I do have a question real quick for either one. Did y'all stay to see the end of those credits?
Oh my goodness. Enough with these end credits, man. Is every
Dude, I went pretty deep. There was something at the end?
No, did you see like not after credits, but just like the animated credits?
Oh yeah.
Because it retells the whole movie, but at the very end, when they're celebrating her, like it pans over and then you see the ships coming back at them.
Oh yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, and I was like, Harley was like, sequel? I was like, I guess so.
Either sequel or it's now Predators.
Or they're all dead.
Well, speaking of sequels, I was surprised that unless you guys know any different than I do, but this is only Dan Trachtenberg's second film.
Yes.
Yeah, so far he's a pretty great director in my book.
Oh, you like 10 Cloverfield Lane?
Yeah, I thought it was pretty good.
Oh, that movie gives me anxiety, bro.
That's the whole point of it.
Yeah, I think that's the point of that movie.
Well,
Then you should like it too, what?
He succeeded.
don't not like it.
Yeah, apparently he's done episodes of The Boys as well, and
Yeah.
I've loved every episode of The Boys. And there was one more, Black Mirror, and I've loved most episode of Black Mirror.
Oh yeah, which one? Which I couldn't remember. I saw the name of it, Playtest, but I couldn't remember which one that was.
Well, I mean, we'll do that. We'll do that behind the scenes.
All right. Well,
because I was about to go on a deep dark dive.
What I remember about Dan Trachtenberg is that Zach thought he had married Michelle Trachtenberg and taken her last name.
I've come for your last name, woman.
That's great.
Well, I mean, outside of me sandboxing as much as I have, I really got, nothing else to say. I think I'm ready to give my review.
Yeah, I think it's a wrap. Go for it.
Well, I would throw this out real quick before you do that. I do know Amanda Midthunder. She's actually been in a lot of like CW TV shows and stuff that I watch, but I don't remember her at all.
That's why I've never seen her.
She was like in the originals, Legion, Roswell. She's apparently going to be in Avatar: The Last Airbender, like the Netflix series.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but movie-wise, yeah, they're supposed to be making a live-action Netflix series.
Oh,
yeah.
What do you mean live action?
I mean, it's not going to be animated. It's going to be live action. Instead of a movie, it's going to actually be a whole season of people playing these characters.
So it's going to be that animation style, that CGI.
No. It's probably going to be some CGI, but imagine the movie, but if it was a series instead of a movie.
Yeah.
What movie are you talking about?
Avatar: The Last Airbender is going to be a series.
Oh, well, yeah, a series of movies.
No, a series of TV show, like a Netflix show, like Stranger Things. Yeah.
We'll see how it goes.
Oh, she was also in Hell or High Water. Looks like it's a good movie.
Yes.
All right.
So that's all I got now.
Okay, good. I guess I'm up first because it was my pick.
You can't pass this one.
Yeah, I would say even after our conversation, I do appreciate Marc's insight. It definitely adds something to what we saw. But again, as I shared, I just feel like I would have. I think, again, they had a lot of really solid ingredients, but once that meal got placed in front of me, I didn't quite. It didn't go down as well as I would have liked. So it's unfortunate. I enjoyed the acting, enjoyed the characters, except for the French. Enjoyed all the murdering. Not that I have
French.
anything personally against the French, but it kind of missed the mark for me. So I'm going to go with a. I would watch it again, so I'm gonna say 1.75 Little Jerry's. 1 3/4 Little Jerry's.
Wow. All right. KL.
All right. So it was very artsy for a Predator movie. Like some of the shots and stuff, some cool shots. Some parts in the beginning teased me that it was going to be a little more like The Revenant when it was really tied up on them. It was not that. It had a couple of nice callbacks. It was, like I said, it wasn't offensive. It wasn't bad. It wasn't great. I would only rewatch it because my daughter would want to watch it. So to me, it's just, again, in the middle, just a 2.
All right. Very well said. Yeah. So this movie is a great popcorn flick. There are some very interesting scenes that involve action and killing and violence, and for me, I always enjoy watching that stuff.
You
The
enjoy a
story,
good murder.
yeah, a good murder. That's what it is. And there's not much story there, and it is what it is. I would recommend it to someone. So yeah, I actually sit with Kev. We sit on the same boat together. I give it 2 little Jerry's.
Really? That seems low for you.
Yeah,
I was
well,
expecting you to go high on it. I was like, ooh.
well, it's only fair that I view it, review it on my first viewing. It's not fair that I have a whole week to watch it multiple times and do research. I shouldn't have to do that for a movie to be good.
Mm, good
I
point.
only did it because I just wanted to know more about predators because, like you said, Juan, they're a mystery. And I enjoyed the relationship that Nauru and Tabe had. Amber and Dakota did very well. So I kind of just looked up that stuff, and that's how I got into it. And it made me open up my eyes a little bit more on the second viewing. And by the third and fourth, I was just like, man, I really like this movie. And that's where I'm at now. But I had to do the work to get there.
Yeah.
If you were to sit down and go, man, I don't know how this guy said this is 3 Little Jerry's, I'd be like, yeah, because I was lying. It's a 2. Yeah, it's a 2.
Did you guys know that in one of the Predator movies, they pretty much detail that the Predators created the xenomorphs?
I remember that, yes.
I think in Aliens versus Predator.
Yeah, but then Ridley Scott did away with that in Prometheus and in some of those other movies that followed.
Yeah, I gotta watch all those movies.
Like, I think they made them so they could hunt them and train on the young guys, can train with them.
Yeah, and then things got crazy where there was like a xenomorph predator hybrid.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, nobody could see them having babies together, so that's what I was like. All right, we gotta cancel this. Shut this down. All right, gentlemen, it's been a pleasure.
Hopefully, no one listens to this whole thing thinking it's some movie called Pray.
My kids thought it was that when I first told them when I was watching. They're like, "Oh, it's a Christian movie." I'm like, "No, babies, it's a Predator movie."
Yeah, Christian movie. Yeah, sit down. Come on, girls, let's watch this together.
Hilarious. All right, gents. Nice chatting with you all about Pray.
Eating and loving.
We should do this again soon.
I hope so.
Great idea.
I think
great idea, lads.
I think we can make that happen. All right. You guys have a great night. Love you.
Love you.
Love you.